Comus. Sweet echo, sweetest nymph, that livest unseen within thy airy shell by slow meanders margin green, and in the violet embroidered veil with a lovelorn nightingale nightly to thee her sad song mourneth well, canst thou not tell me of a gentle pair that likest thy Narcissus are? Or if thou have hid them in some flowery cave, tell me but where, sweet queen of parley, daughter of the sphere, so mayest thou be translated to the skies, and give resounding grace to all heaven's harmonies. Sabrina fair, listen where thou art sitting under the glassy, cool, translucent wave, in twisted braids of lilies knitting the loose train of thy amber-dropping hair. Listen for dear honour's sake, goddess of the silver lake. Listen and save. Listen and appear to us in name of great Oceanus, by the earth-shaking Neptune's mace, and Tethys' grave majestic pace, by hoary Nereus' wrinkled look, and the Carpathian wizard's hook, by scaly Triton's winding shell, and old soothsaying Glaucus' spell, by Leucothia's lovely hands, and her son that rules the strands, by Thetis' tinsel slippered feet, and the songs of sirens sweet, by dead Parthenope's dear tomb, and fair Ligeia's golden comb, wherewith she sits on diamond rocks sleeking her soft alluring locks, by all the nymphs that nightly dance upon thy streams with wily glance. Rise, rise, and heave thy rosy head from thy coral-paven bed, and bridle in thy headlong wave, till thou our summons answered have. Listen and save. By the rushy fringed bank, where grows the willows and the osier dank, my sliding chariot stays, thick set with agate, and the azure sheen of turquoise blue, and emerald green that in the channel strays, whilst from off the waters fleet thus I set my printless feet o'er the cowslip's velvet head, that bends not as I tread. Gentle swain, at thy request, I am here. At a vacation exercise. The Latin speeches ended, the English thus began. Hail, native language, that by sinews weak didst move my first endeavouring tongue to speak, and madest imperfect words with childish trips, half unpronounced, slide through my infant lips, driving dumb silence from the portal door, where he had mutely sate 2 years before. Here I salute thee, and thy pardon ask, that now I use thee in my latter task. Small loss is that thence can come unto thee. I know my tongue but little grace can do thee. Thou needest not be ambitious to be first. Believe me, I have thither packed the worst. And if it happen as I did forecast, the daintest dishes shall be served up last. I pray thee then deny me not thy aid for this same small neglect that I have made, but haste thee straight to do me once a pleasure, and from thy wardrobe bring thy chiefest treasure. Not those new-fangled toys and trimmings slight, which takes our late fantastics with delight, but cull those richest robes and gayest attire which deepest spirits and choicest wits desire. I have some naked thoughts that rove about and loudly knock to have their passage out, and weary of their place do only stay till thou hast decked them in thy best array, that so they may without suspect or fears fly swiftly to this fair assembly's ears. Yet I had rather, if I were to choose, thy service in some graver subject use, such as may make thee search thy coffers round, before thou clothe my fancy in fit sound. Such where the deep transported mind may soar above the wheeling poles, and at heaven's door look in, and see each blissful deity how he before the thunderous throne doth lie, listening to what unshorn Apollo sings to the touch of golden wires, while Hebe brings immortal nectar to her kingly sire. Then passing through the spheres of watchful fire, and misty regions of wide air next under, and hills of snow, and lofts of piled thunder, may tell at length how green-eyed Neptune raves, in heaven's defiance mustering all his waves. Then sing of secret things that came to pass when beldam nature in her cradle was, and last of kings and queens and heroes old, such as the wise Demodocus once told in solemn songs at King Alcinous's feast, while sad Ulysses' soul and all the rest are held with his melodious harmony in willing chains and sweet captivity. to Mr. Lawrence. Lawrence, a virtuous father, virtuous son, now that the fields are dank, and ways are mire, where shall we sometimes meet, and by the fire help waste a sullen day? Or it may be one from the hard season gaining. Time will run on smoother, till Favonius re-inspire the frozen earth, and clothe in fresh attire the lily and rose, that neither sowed nor spun. What neat repast shall feast us, light and choice, of Attic taste, with wine, whence we may rise to hear the lute well touched, or artful voice warble immortal notes and Tuscan air? He who of those delights can judge, and spare to interpose them oft, is not unwise. On the Lord General Fairfax at the siege of Colchester. Fairfax, whose name and arms through Europe rings, filling each mouth with envy or with praise, and all her jealous monarchs with amaze and rumours loud, that daunt remotest kings. Thy firm, unshaken virtue ever brings victory home, though new rebellions raise their hydra heads, and the false north displays her broken league, to imp their serpent wings. O yet a nobler task awaits thy hand, for what can war but endless war still breed? To truth and right from violence be freed, and public faith cleared from the shameful brand of public fraud. In vain doth valor bleed, while avarice and rapine share the land.